The truth will set you free, with Hector Melo.
Many researchers believe that among all the ancient alien civilizations that have come to Earth to visit us, one of them is the Anunnaki. Those have become so popular in the most recent years, and they are attributed to be the creators of humankind as well. Today, we're going to study deeply the Anunnaki. Stay tuned. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to The Truth Will Set You Free. Once you do that, now we are ready to proceed. In the regions of ancient Mesopotamia, a great civilization flourished in the past. This was the Sumerians. This civilization were followed by others that through the years inhabit that same area and beyond, as the Akkadians, Babylonians, and even the Hittites expanded also nearby. But all those ancient civilizations share something in common, more than just their arts, monuments, and architectures. They shared their beliefs, since these ancient civilizations claimed that their ancestors were created by some gods that came from the stars, known as the Anunnaki. The study of these alien civilizations has become more popular each year among humanity, since aliens seems to be curious to know more about these visitors. The first recounts concerning the Anunnaki comes from the Sumerian civilization. The legend of the Sumerian creation was written around 1600 BC and was found at the ancient city of Nippur in thousands of clay tablets known as the famous Sumerian tablets. According to what is described in this tablet, these gods came from the stars and created the first man and the first woman. Many researchers believe that some religious texts are even inspired by these narratives, since the Sumerian tablets are older than any written document in history. Besides the Sumerian tablets, there is another Mesopotamian ancient text which narrates about the contact with these alien gods. We refer to the Akkadian book, the Atrahasis. This tells the creation myth that is quite similar to the Sumerians. We must remember that they shared in successive manner their religious and beliefs. Atrahasis was located at the Ashurnapol Library at Nineveh. This ancient work also tells about Marduk's victory over Tiamat. We read the Atrahasis as follows. When An had gone up to the sky and the gods of the Apsu had gone below, the Anunnaki of the sky made the Gigi bear the workload. The gods had to dig out canals, had to clear channels, the lifelines of the land. The gods dug out the Tigris river bed and dug out the Euphrates. In the deep, they set up the Apsu of the land and roofed it as the mountains. Next, we're going to show what deities formed this group of alien gods that came from the stars. We're going to talk briefly of some of them and display some artistic representation of the same as follows. Remember that most of the content discussed on the Truth Will Set You Free channel are material taken from the book What Really Happened by Hector Melo. The same can be found by clicking on Hector Melo's book icon at the home page of this channel, or by clicking on the link found on the description of this video. What Really Happened recounts the secret history of humanity and reveals the true identity of the gods of antiquity. You may also find other books being written by this author, including his Anunnaki saga. Anunnaki, the creation. Anunnaki, war of gods. And Anunnaki, the rebellion. For these and more, please visit www.lulu.com. This is An, or Anu. This Anunnaki was the divine personification of the sky, king of the gods, and ancestor of many of the deities in ancient Mesopotamian religion. He was regarded as a source of both divine and human kingship. It is believed that An had 3 wives, Ki, Urash, and Antu. The term An means skies in Sumerian, so this character's name could be something as the heavenly one. and was regarded as the supreme god, placing him on top of the Sumerian pantheon. This is Inanna. She is the ancient Mesopotamian goddess of love, war, and fertility. She is also associated with sensuality, procreation, divine law, and political power. Originally worshipped in Sumer, she was known by the Akkadian Empire, Babylonians, and Assyrian as Ishtar. She is also known as the Queen of Heaven. Pay close attention to the image at the left side. She seems to be wearing some sort of jetpack, certainly another misinterpreted alien technology. This is Enlil, later known as Enlil. This ancient Mesopotamian god is associated with wind, air, earth, and storms. He is first attested as the chief deity of the Sumerian pantheon, but he was later worshipped by the Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and Hurrians. Enlil's primary center of worship was Ekur, temple in the city of Nippur, which was believed to have been built by Enlil himself and was regarded as the mooring rope of heaven and earth. At the left side you can appreciate an image showing the old temple built for Prince Enlil. This is Enki. This is the Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, and creation, and one of the Anunnaki. He was later known as Ea for the Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians, also identified as Ia in the Canaanite religion. He was originally the patron god of the city of Raider, but later the influence of his cult spread through Mesopotamia and to the Canaanites, Hittites, and Hurrians. He was associated with the southern band of constellation called Stars of Ea, but also with the constellation Iku. According to many researchers, Enki is the creator of the current humanity. This goddess is Nirgosach, known as the Magnuna or Nigma. She was the ancient Sumerian mother goddess of the mountains and one of the 7 great deities of Sumeria. She is known earliest as the fertility goddess. Temple hymn sources identify her as the true and great lady of heaven. It is believed that kings of Lagash were nourished by Nirgosach's milk. Nirgosach is the mother of Ninurta. According to the Anzu epic, Nirgosach had many other names, including Nimach, Great Queen, Nimt, Lady of Birth, Mama or Mummy. Many believe this is the origin for the term mom or mother. If you are a fan of the ancient astronauts, the unknown and mystery, you will love to take a look at some cool stuff made for you. Just visit the official Hector Melo shop. You may find there items based on those characters that we love. The Anunnaki, the Alpha Centaurians, the Zeta Reticulans, the Pleiadians, the Orions, the Olympians, the Shivarus, and more. Please visit www.cafepress.com/shop/Hector Melo. Cool t-shirts, mugs, apparel, and more. www.cafepress.com/shop/Hector Melo. This Anunnaki god is Ninurta, possible meaning Lord of Bali, also known as Nigrizu, means Lord of Girzu. Is an ancient Mesopotamian god associated with farming, healing, hunting, law, scribes, and war, who was first worshipped in early Sumeria. In the earliest records, he is a god of agriculture and healing, who cures humans of sickness and releases them from the power of demons. In later times, as Mesopotamia grew more militarized, he became a warrior deity through the retaining many of his earlier agricultural attributes. He was regarded as the son of chief god Enlil, and his main cult center in Sumeria was the Emesha temple in Nippur. Ninurta became beloved by the Assyrians as a great warrior. The Assyrian king Ashurnapal II built a massive temple for him in Kalku, which became the most important cult center for them on. This Anunnaki is known as Marduk. He is the son of Enki, also known as Calf of the Sun or Solar Calf. is a god from ancient Mesopotamia and patron deity of the city of Babylon, who eventually rose to power in the first millennium BC. Marduk was worshipped in the temple of Sahilwa. His symbol is the speed, and he is associated with the Mushushu, the Babylonian dragon. By the first millennium BC, Marduk had become astrologically associated with the planet Jupiter. He was a prominent figure in Babylonian cosmology, especially in the Enuma Elish creation myth. The Anunnaki are the powerful of the sky, those who descend from heaven. For some other are known as the one of the chariots of fire or the flying chariots. These ancient alien visitors appeared in other ancient texts as well outside the Mesopotamian scriptures. This proves that other civilizations from the past knew about the Anunnaki. Such is the case of the next religious text we're going to study as follows. We read in the Bible, book of the Deuteronomy, chapter 9, verse 2. A people great and tall, the son of Anakin, whom you know, and whom you have heard it say, who can stand before the sons of Anak? It is impressive the recounts that ensure these beings were tall giants, but not more impressive than the similarities that exist between the terms Anunnaki and Anakim, as it was mentioned in the previous text. Not only the Hebrew Bible narrates the feats of these alien gods of antiquity, but also the Mayan civilization seemed to have contact with the Anunnaki as well. Those powerful of the sky, as the Mayan used to call them, are mentioned and described in the old Mayan Quiche book of the Council, as shown next. Remember, subscribe to this channel, hit that button. Now we can continue. We read now in the Popol, only the builders, the forming ones, the dominators, the powerful of heaven, Elohim, the procreators, the fathers, were on water, scattered light. Outstanding that this man has so much connection with the narratives found in the Bible. Many of the feats achieved by these alien gods are described and found in Mesopotamian mythologies, taken from the ancient texts being written in cuneiform scripture, as the Sumerian tablets, the Akkadian Atrahasis, and the Babylonian Enuma Elish. In this text, we may find the creation legend in which involves the Anunnaki as responsible for the creation of mankind. Let's take a look at this creation myth. According to the Mesopotamian myth, Enki devised a plan to use clay and the waters of the Avens to form humans. With the help of other goddesses, the first humans were created in likeness to the gods. However, the humans were still dependent on the gods. Later, Enki and Nipmuc further modified humans to be fully independent through a competition where they each created humans with disabilities and found roles for them in society. Within the Mesopotamian creation myth, we also find some recounts concerning the creation of man. According to these legends, the first man created was known as Edapa, and the first woman is known as Titi. God Enki created man by mixing his own Anunnaki genes with the ones of a primate. Of this mixture came what we know today as the Homo sapiens, the first thinkable and intelligent humans. The myth tries to explain the first Homo sapiens to inhabit Earth thanks to the Anunnaki and the created god Enki. Since the Mesopotamian texts are the oldest among any other within human history, some researchers may recognize Enki, Ea, as the father creator of the current humanity, as it is described by those myths. Enki is probably one of the most known Anunnaki of all by humans, not only for this great feat, but also because of the love he always showed towards mankind, as it is described in some narratives concerning the global flood. Remember to follow us on our social media: XCOM, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Don't forget to follow. The Mesopotamian flood story recounts the following. Ea leaks the secret plan Unapishtim tells Gilgamesh, a secret story that begins in the old city of Shuruppak, on the banks of the Euphrates River. The great gods Anu, Enlil, Ninurta, Enki, and Ea were sworn to secrecy about their plan to cause the flood. But the god Ea, Sumerian god Enki, repeated the plan to Unapishtim through a reed wall in a reed house. Ea commanded Unapishtim to demolish the house and build a boat, regardless of the cost, to keep living beings alive. The boat must have equal dimensions with the corresponding width and length, and be covered over like Apso boats. Unapishtim promised to do what Ea commanded. He asked Ea what he should say to the city elders and the population. Ea tells him to say that Enlil has rejected him and he can no longer reside in the city of Setfoot in Enlil's territory. He should also say that he will go down to the Apsu to live with my lord Ea. It is incredible to realize that the traditional religious texts as the Bible were actually taken from ancient Mesopotamian narratives. The Anunnaki are definitely deeply inserted into the humanity history, even within the secret history. Many researchers agree that the Anunnaki may return someday in the future. Maybe they will come to recover back their planet and rebuild themselves before humanity. Some religious texts may recall this same event, misinterpreted in a more religious way. Let's take a look into some old narratives. We read now in the Bible, Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who perceive him. And all peoples on earth will mourn because of him. So shall it be. Amen. Probably the wedding return of Jesus is along the Anunnaki. This explains how it will be possible that everyone will see his return. Of course, since many gigantic spacecraft will appear in the skies. Let's evaluate the Anunnaki return from a different perspective. We're going to analyze another religious text to find out more about the return. Hi, this is Hector. If you really want to help us to make this channel to grow, you may consider making a donation to the Truth Will Set You Free PayPal account, which is hmelo25@yahoo.com. Thank you. We really appreciate your contribution. We read again in the Bible, Gospel of Mark, chapter 13, verse 35, as follows. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know when the owner of the house will come back, whether in the evening, or at midnight, or when the rooster crows, or at dawn. The owners of this house, the Anunnaki, are the real owners of earth, also of its resources. But when they left, and more important, why? According to some researchers, those giants were so big that food and other resources were not enough for them. That is why they were forced to abandon Earth for returning later. We read now in the book of Enoch, chapter 7, as follows. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go into them and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisition of man. And when men could not longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the loveless ones. As is described in the previous text, it seems that the Anunnaki are the powerful aliens that arrived at Earth thousands of years ago, probably millions, with advanced technology and also rulers of Earth. Certainly, the Anunnaki are quite inserted into the human history, ancient texts, and Mesopotamian mythologies, but also are very inserted within our own culture, and many are still waiting for their return. Please comment below. Thanks for watching The Truth Will Set You Free. See you next time.